Broadcasting to the world from South Jersey, this is Anything Goes with Phil Rossi and JJ Golick. A weekly podcast with different topics every week. The views and opinions on this show are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any businesses or organizations mentioned during the show. And now, it's Anything Goes with Phil Rossi and JJ Golick.
Yo, what is going down? My name is Phil Rossi alongside JJ Golick. This is Anything Goes. Welcome inside another week, another episode. JJ, what's up?
What's up?
What is going down?
I don't know. What is going down?
All right, so I'll tell you. So today we are talking about high school sports.
High school sports.
Yeah, so...
What is considered a sport? What is not?
Right, so, well, I don't know if we're going there, but I guess we could.
I think we should.
So before the show started, we were talking about your brother's trying out for the high school baseball team.
Oh, yeah. High school baseball.
And he's currently, now I played high school baseball. He is a freshman, sophomore?
Sophomore.
So he's going out for the JV team.
Yes.
Now, did he play last year?
No, he did not. His grades didn't allow it. And sorry, Michael, but I hope you got your shit together.
So now here's the thing. Are you rooting for him? Or are you optimistic that he'll make it? Or do you think...
I mean, I wish he would make it, but I also know it's a lot harder to make the JV team than it is the freshman team.
Right.
And with you not playing freshman year, your chances are already lower than what they are unless you are out of this world.
Unless you're good.
You have to be very good. And, you know, Michael likes to sometimes slack off. So...
Now, what do you mean slack off? Like grades-wise, working
everything,
out-wise?
all of the above. All of
Okay.
the above. So... You know, he has, we went out and had a catch earlier today, but
How did he look?
he's getting there, but still a lot of work, and tryouts are Thursday.
So here's the thing. Now, you have tryouts Thursday. Now, you know, when you're trying out for the team, like at this point, either you have natural ability where you know you can play and you're going to try it. I mean, I give him credit, honestly, just for even trying out, because there's a lot of people that maybe don't play sports all the time that, you know, you're going to see other guys in high school. I mean, when I was in high school, 14, 15-year-old kids looked like they were like 30-year-old men. And
Yeah.
I felt like I was, at that time, I was a late developer. So like at 14, 15 years old, I felt like I looked like I was 8. And there was dudes that looked like Bryce Harper. Like he looked like
Yeah.
a 30, like a 29-year-old man. And I'm like, this guy's got a full beard. He's hitting bombs. And I still have like, yodel fat and like tasty cake fat because I felt like I made the team freshman year at Gloucester Catholic, which is a very competitive like baseball team.
Right.
But, I mean, it was nerve-wracking. I think even when you're good and you're confident in playing, there's something about a tryout because you know everybody's watching you. Like everybody
And there's only so many spots. That's the other thing you got to remember. There's always someone better than you.
Right.
It's just, are they trying out or not?
Yeah, and it depends on what you can be good at. Like I've always felt if you're a good baseball hitter, they'll find a spot for you.
Right.
Like if you're a good hitter, they'll find a spot for you. The same way, if you're even a decent average catcher, you're a commodity because there's not too many guys that can catch. But if you're just
Right.
okay or below average and you play, second base or the outfield, you might already have 4 or 5 guys that are in better shape or they do it a little bit better and it's not enough for you to make it. So like your brother, like what would his strength be? Is he a good hitter?
I haven't seen him in a while hit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that I think he was like I was, where, if he hit it, it was going.
Okay.
But if not,
So it's like feast or famine.
yeah.
Home run or swing and a miss,
Not necessarily home run for him.
but he'll drive the ball.
Yeah. And that's, it depends. Where's it going? Is someone going to catch it?
Right.
You know how that goes. So I haven't seen him hit in a while. Last time I saw him hit was a couple years ago in Little League, and it wasn't bad. I think he just really needs to focus. I think he needs to just really focus on what he's doing, and then he'll be...
So would you say this is like a spur of the moment? Like, oh, they're having tryouts for baseball, let me go? Or has he been... because again, I think there's this misconception that baseball, you don't have to be athletic, right? You could just be like... You don't have to be in shape. All you're doing is standing around. But baseball is a lot of... It's squatting, it's running, it's jumping, it's throwing.
You should be training for it. See, here's my thing. He's been talking about it since last year when he was not eligible to go for the freshman team because of his grades. And now he's picked up his grades. He's been fine with that. But at the same time, I feel like he should have been training
Yeah, you should have.
for this. He's known about it, that he wanted to do it. So I feel like he should have been training, running. You know, he takes the dog for the walk, but that's not training.
Yeah, no, you have to be, you should be hitting the cages inside, getting your swings in. You got to be throwing. I mean, it doesn't have to be every day, but at least a couple times a week, kind of just because let's just say, for example, you're in shape, right? You work out, you're in good physical shape. There's that, but, from somebody who plays baseball, even still, there's also baseball shape. And you can't train even just running is not the same thing as running the bases. Or, you can swing a bat in your garage, but it's not the same thing as hitting a live pitcher. There's so many different aspects, and a lot of baseball is mental. You got to know the game. You got to know the rules. There's so many different things that can happen in baseball, but you have to be physically ready. So let's just say you're not practicing, you're not running, you're not swinging, you're not airing your arm out, and now you just go out for a tryout. You're not putting yourself in the best possible position because you're not even, your arm may be just stiff because you haven't used it, or say you are a good hitter. This happens a lot in the league that we play in. Guys will they played in high school or they played in college. They take 4 or 5 years off. They start their job. They're living life. They're getting married, having kids, and then they get that itch to come back and play. And then 27 years old, even if they were good ball players in high school, little league, college, it takes them a little while, a couple months, a year or two, to kind of dust off that rust. And it's like, oh, this is I'm saying, they still have the skill to play the game, but to get back into the flow of continuously playing, it's an adjustment. I know that even from catching. I'll have the whole off season where you're not squatting and you're not doing all the physical demand of catching, and then after that first game of catching a 9-inning ball game, for the next 4 days I'm sore as shit. My thighs, my quads, my ankles hurt, your knees hurt, your arm hurts from throwing. Now it's kind of a good kind of sore pain, but it definitely takes you again a couple of weeks. And again, put that on the scale of what a Major League Baseball player does. Like a catcher catches 5, 6, 7 days a week for 6, 7 months of the season, plus playoffs if they get there. So those guys basically all offseason are training to do this on a consistent basis, which is really demanding. It's hard.
Yeah, and, Michael, I think he's got the potential to do it. It's just he should have been, and part of it, he is hybrid, so he goes to school 2 days out of the week. He will actually go into the building. But you're not having your gym class and stuff like that either. Right. It's still kind of spread out, but that doesn't mean you can't be doing it at home.
No, you have. I mean, again, even if you had nobody to have a catch with, I would go out, be throwing the ball against the wall, and just back and forth all day.
The dog would appreciate it.
Yeah, whatever you got to do to kind of, build up, because if it's tough if you go in there with you haven't really trained, you haven't done anything, and now you're trying out, because the other dudes, especially if it's JV now, the guys that were playing freshman ball, the guys that are going out, this is not their first foray this season into trying out. And
there's already eyes on the people that were on the freshman team. The coaches are already watching.
Right. And it's like that with all like high school sports. And from at least my experience, they're trying to put the best people out there that they can. It's not as much like Little League where it's like you're just playing the parent or the kid who you know.
No, we want a fucking championship.
They want to win. So it's like the same thing in the big leagues. They don't care what your personality is or what you say. As long as you can ball, they'll put you out there. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't have interest in high school of playing sports at all. I didn't have an interest in it. And,
So you played no sports in high school?
I had one sport, and we're going to argue over it.
Was it like ping pong or something?
No, it was marching band.
Yeah, it's not a sport.
No, it's a sport.
It's not a sport.
Did you ever do it?
No.
Okay.
No, here's the thing.
No.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
No, don't you even, because I thought the same thing until I did it.
So wait, let me ask you. Wait, hold on a second. So does marching band include running, jumping, throwing?
Yes. We train. Yes.
Okay.
So they actually, the year that I started, and I only did it for the 1 year, that's like how physical it is.
Okay.
They actually require you now to go to the gym. They have to do the weight room. They have to run before rehearsals. Because you got to think, you ever put one of those drums on?
No, I haven't.
Don't do it.
No, here's the thing. I am not saying that it's not easy. It could be physically demanding.
It is.
But why do you consider it a sport?
Because it is physically demanding.
So okay, here's my my thought process is your definition of a sport is it's physical demanding. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's
Physically
not
demanding?
only, and it's also a competition. It's also a competition for the school.
Okay.
It's done, it's done during, it has a season.
So who are you competing against?
You're competing against other marching bands. You have indoor divisions, outdoor divisions.
I like the competition thing.
The color
that
guard.
gets me going.
And there's also different, so you have drum corps. So that's just the drum lines and everything like that. You have the full band. The color guard also gets judged, which is physical as well. They're tossing things. But you have to think, if you're playing the trumpet, and it's kind of military style too.
Yeah.
Where you have to, your movements, you're in time. You got to be in shape to move as quick as you're having to move.
Yeah, it's like military. You have to be in sync with the rest of the band.
You have to be in sync with the rest of the band. And if you're doing a faster tempo for one of the songs, and let's say you have 4 counts to get to here, you better be ready to move. And you got to make sure you're on time. So it is very...
So if one person in the marching band screws up, what happens?
So it depends on the judge and how harsh they want to be, but one person fucking up can screw you.
I mean, but does it screw up the whole band and the whole routine?
It can, yeah. It depends on who really did. It really depends.
Okay.
Because there's different visuals. Obviously, let's say a color guard runs into the drum line. Yeah, you're probably going to have a really big problem, and that could fuck up the whole show. Now, if somebody stepped on the wrong time... Not necessarily, they're going to get points deducted,
Right.
but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to fuck up the whole show.
Now, I do like the competitive nature. I'll still stick with my my definition of it's not a sport. And the reason
Oh, man. All right, so if you want to beat Phil up, I'll give you his address, because I know a lot of people that want to smack you right now.
No, I disagree, because I think if people play sports, now I consider a sport hand-eye coordination. You got to be able to run. You got to be able to jump. You got to be able to throw.
You gotta have hand-eye coordination for
also-
marching band.
Yeah, you do.
You do,
But it's-
more than.
but it's not a
actually.
sport.
I'm gonna say you need more than baseball.
No.
Hand-eye coordination. Yes.
Nah.
Because think about it. You have to be able to be looking forward the whole time, moving sideways, backwards,
No,
playing
listen,
your instrument.
I think the issue we're having is I'm not saying it's not hard as shit or it's not badass,
But it is a sport.
but it's not a sport.
It is a sport.
Because I also believe that like golf is not a sport.
Oh, it is a sport.
Golf
though.
is obviously it's a very skilled thing to be able to do, but it's not a sport. Like a sport is baseball, is hockey, is football, is basketball.
See, I think golf can be a sport. It's more of a mental sport.
Yeah, but but here's the thing: you're really competing with yourself, right? It's like you and the ball. Like nobody's trying to tackle you, nobody's checking you, nobody's tagging you, nobody's like, you know what I mean? Like you're not really, even especially in golf. Like I would actually
Well, then bowling's the same thing,
right? Bowling's not a sport either.
but it's considered a sport.
I guess. I mean, it's
So
really,
here's the
it's
thing,
really
if you're-
trivial to kind of go over like what's a sport and what's not. And now listen, bowling, I think again, it's hard as shit. Like there's a lot of people that are really good at it. Like I mean, they have Olympic bowling.
They do. But
So like I take nothing away from people that can bowl because I'm not that good at it and it's not easy. For 100%, it's kind of like golf is the same way. Like that shit is hard as hell. But I mean, it's just to me, you're doing it on your own. It's a slow pace. Like you're not exerting, and you don't have to be. So technically, you don't have to be in physically good shape to play golf or to bowl.
it does help, though.
It
But-
helps, but you know what I
okay.
mean. But it's not like you can't play football or baseball or hockey or basketball and be completely out of shape. Like if you can't run around the basketball court one time, you can't play in the NBA. Like you have to be in good shape. Like in golf, you could be overweight or not really skilled at everything and be a professional golfer. Same thing
Right,
with bowling. So I think
that you
that's where
can.
I differentiate. Because again, you can't be a hockey player. There's no hockey player, not one in the NHL who's not in shape.
Right.
So that's where I kind of see it a little bit different.
Phil's homework now is going to be looking over marching band again, now that he just said those words, because you do have to be in shape to do it. You cannot play your instrument and be going as fast paced
No,
if
listen,
you're not in shape and doing so. If any sport out of golf, bowling and marching band are going to be a fucking sport, it's going to be marching band because they go through a lot more shit.
No, I agree with that. I mean, out of those three, I would consider marching band
marching band
harder.
is now a sport. Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
No, overruled. Not a sport yet. We haven't really decided this. So let's take swimming for example.
Now, swimming.
I don't consider swimming a sport either.
You don't.
I don't. Again, hard as hell.
Well, that's because you don't swim yet.
No, it has nothing to do with that. I'm just going based off of my definition of my eyes. And again, you're competing with who can go faster, who can do the breaststroke, who can do the butterfly, all these other things. But again, to me, it's not. Yeah, and the other sports also have a puck or a ball compared to these other ones. You know what I mean? And again, like technically swimming, you're still on your own. It's really just you. You're not playing with teammates. You're not passing. You're not throwing the ball. You're not. So that to me is what constitutes more of a sport activity. Like I don't know. Like then you could also go into like pool. Is pool a sport?
You're talking about the bar, like
like with the eight ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we kind of get in this weird
I don't
back and
know.
forth.
Do they consider that a sport?
I don't even know. Like I can look it up real quick.
Yeah,
that's like. But your first thought, like if I say
8-ball pool, that's just a freaking bar game.
That's what I'm saying. So if I say I
but
play,
yet again they say ping pong is a sport.
I mean, here's my take on ping pong. That's a little bit more, I would think, a sport because again, you have the paddles, the ball's going back and forth. You need to be physically in shape. You're using hand-eye coordination.
I would say tennis over ping pong.
Oh,
ping pong is this.
Tennis is 100% a sport. No doubt about it.
Tennis is hard. Ping pong, you're not moving that much.
No, it's more like tabletop than it is.
Right. You're not.
Tennis is hard as shit.
It is.
It really is.
They made us do that. Now, archery, though, I think archery can be because you really do have to focus.
Right.
And some of that shit is heavy.
Well, see, I don't know. It's hard. Like according to what I just looked up, like pool technically is a recognized sport.
No.
And that's what it says. This is according to Supreme Billiards. But
who?
Supreme Billiards.
Okay.
Whatever.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Obviously somebody who wants pool to be legitimized as a sport.
Yeah, I mean,
let me see if marching band is a sport.
Oh, here we go.
I really hope, just for the sake of argument, it says no.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Yep.
Marching band, by definition, is a sport.
Thank you.
Yeah, but whoa, calm.
Thank you.
They also think pool is a sport, so I wouldn't get too excited. The Oxford Dictionary defines a sport as an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Send in the cavalry, baby.
So, okay, so they're saying that anything. Basically, what I'm hearing is if you have to put any effort in,
it's a sport. That's where that's where I disagree. But
all right, so never mind. So I'm not going to go where I was about to go.
What was it? Some like sex joke or something?
It was.
Of course.
But
of course it was.
I was going to say, so if you're laying there, is that a sport? Like, are porn stars considered sports? Is that a sport?
Well, I guess according to the definition, I mean you're exerting physicality.
Right.
You got to be in some sort of decent shape. I mean, if you're putting up some good work. Right. You could be like a lazy turd and just be like not doing much and kind of just like moving through the motions.
Phil's OnlyFans handle is.
Yeah, and we'll give it to you later in the show. But you know what I mean? Like if you're really plowing, then it's a sport. Depending on your on your significant other, on your lover, on your people that you've talked to, with different parts of your body.
Right.
So, like, it depends. Like, maybe you talk to one person, like, man, he was an athlete. You talk to another chick, like, man, he sucked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, I mean, who knows?
Man, these sound effects, dude. I don't know who that guy was.
But, yeah, I mean, no. Is sex a sport? No, it's not.
No?
No. Again, like, if you want to take credit, like, so let's for example, play devil's advocate here. I'm like, oh, hey, Jay, do you play any sports? And you're like, yeah, and now in my head I'm thinking, does he play baseball? Does he play hockey? Does he play football? Does he play basketball? And you're like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, oh, cool. What sport do you play? Oh, I play sex. Right? I mean, like, yeah. I mean, nobody's saying that, right? I mean, So I mean,
actually,
that's how
next time somebody asks me, that's what I'm going to say.
that's how I define it. I've never heard that.
Phil, do you play any sports?
I play a lot of sports. I do.
What do you play?
I play traditional. I play baseball.
Right?
I play sex. I play. There's definitely a few.
Hey, how do you want a home run?
I'm glad you find it funny. I don't know if anybody else is laughing, but you're on the verge of almost choking yourself.
Yeah,
But-
probably.
So what are some other ones? Like what other things? We were talking about bowling, tennis.
Tennis is hard as shit.
Yeah, tennis is hard.
Tennis. If you can play tennis, you're really good.
Well, first of all, if you want to get in shape, even if you're not playing the full tilt, like the ball back and forth, and you're just like, even just keep the ball going back and forth without somebody missing it or going out of play or whatever, it's tough enough on its own. I'm not even talking about actually even hitting the ball right and being good.
How about volleyball?
I played volleyball in high school.
See, I liked it.
Volleyball is fun.
We ended up, so the way our class would work is they teach you the skills, everything, how to do it the right way, how to bump and serve and everything.
I was a great server. I
and I didn't, I always tried to avoid it. I always tried to cheat the rotation. Yeah, I would somehow strategically sneak somewhere else.
I was a serving specialist for a while. They would just literally just use me to serve because I would just hit lasers over the net and the other side couldn't. They couldn't really control it.
See that, and that was the thing is I didn't think that I would be good at it, and I was trying to avoid it because I was worried that I was just gonna completely suck.
Yeah,
and I didn't. So I ended up getting forced. The coach kind of caught on to me. I don't know if he's like, "No, you're serving," and I did it. And I was like a natural at it, which was great.
Yeah,
and
then fun.
It was. Well, we would do competitive, and then we have recreational. Well. Of course, I would always get dragged over to competitive, and it was either I was serving, or when I was on the front, because I could jump up and.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because you're tall, so
I actually loved it.
If you played in the at the front of the net, when somebody would come over to spike, I could see you blocking the ball.
See you later.
Yeah, that was always. I'm not that tall, so
the fuck out of here.
Is that what you would say when you blocked the ball in high school?
Yes.
Like 14-year-old JJ, get the fuck out of here.
It was a little higher pitched, but yeah.
It's always.
It was fun though. That was one of my highlights.
Yeah, volleyball. Yeah, in high school I did baseball and I did in volleyball.
So we just recently got a team at Hamilton. And of course, it was way after I'm done. It's like 2 years ago. I think they got a team.
Yeah, and I still do some. In the summer, I'll do beach volleyball, which is tough because the sand is it's tough to move around in the sand. And then recreational stuff in the winter, and then obviously I play baseball in the summer. But again, volleyball. Again, if you want to get in shape and have fun, volleyball is great. It was a lot of fun. It really is.
I loved it.
So we're playing. You want to play?
Yeah, when?
I'm in.
Let's do it. We'll start the Anything Goes podcast.
Yeah, we should
volleyball.
We should actually do that. We should actually. What I've always wanted to do with a show, 100% being honest, is challenge listeners to compete. I mean, versus me, versus you, whatever.
I think that'd be fun.
In tournaments, right? Whether it's volleyball, we'll do 2-on-2 where we'll get, 2 listeners, 3 listeners, and then we'll take them out to the baseball field or the batting cage or, shooting hoops.
Take them to Topgolf. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Do something like that. Take them bowling.
Yeah, doing something and we'll just compete because I'm super competitive. So whether you listen to the show or not, and I love you, but at the same time, I want to beat you. I want to win. I hate to lose.
You want to win?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not going to go easy and be like, oh, you're a listener. I don't care because I want to compete. So if we go out there, I want to win.
So
which I think
we
got to
win. We got to win.
Yeah, we better.
So another one that I did.
Get your shit ready.
Something we started a tournament round for that I don't consider a sport, but was a lot of fun. And I never thought we would start a tournament. Was beanbag toss.
Okay, like a tailgate.
Yeah, so you have the 2 boards,
right?
But if you knock them off, and then if you get it in the hole, it's 3 points, and
you
get it here. So
I'm good at that. Too.
When the weather turned nice, we would have to go outside, and one of the activities would be rec games. So you had Foursquare, you had the stupid ball around the rope.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, though.
You could walk if you wanted to be one of those, and then you had beanbag toss. And I remember it was myself and a couple others. We started doing beanbag toss, and we were really competitive people.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, we got the coach to play a couple of times because he was really good at it. Because you actually have to be pretty hand-eye coordinated to do.
Yeah, you do.
and you want to throw it the right way. And it got pretty competitive, and next thing you know, then these people came over. And these people came over, and we're like, we're going to start a freaking tournament. And that's what we did. We started a tournament, and it was pretty fun.
And the thing is, you can always tell, and this is always something that's interesting to me, is that you can always tell, like whether it's like somebody throwing the beanbag or somebody just having a baseball catch or even throwing a football around, before you know if they can play or not. Just the mechanics of certain things, you can pick out usually who's an athlete and who's not. So I've seen at tailgates, at like a park, at a baseball field, before they even start to play. I mean, forget playing anything like an organized sport. Just having a catch, I'm like, there's no way these people know how to play. Like and again, I think those mechanics are taught from a young age, like just the fundamentals. So even the same thing with your brother. Like, I don't know if he's played before. Like you said, he played some Little League. But usually, as soon as you can tell, like certain people, they just don't. They're probably not taught it from a young age. Like maybe their parents are just not athletes, or they just go out and have a catch. But nobody really teaches you.
Right.
And then and then it's hard because then if you get to high school, 15, 16 years old, in your 20s, at that point, you really can't rectify like bad form or bad fundamentals at that point. Right. You either can do it the way you're supposed to, or you can't. I mean, I know even me and my brothers, we would always go outside and we would just play this game we made up was called like scoop. So we throw the ball low in the dirt and just keep picking it over and over again. Or like one of us would hold the glove up and it would be like an accuracy game. And the other one would stand way across the street on the other driveway. And I wouldn't move my glove. And my brother would just hit this spot. Or I moved the glove up and he hit that spot. Or I'd say bounce it and we'd scoop it. So really it was just us practicing together.
Scoop, there it is.
Yeah, like all the time.
Sprinkles.
And then this guy. And then we would play in the games, and we would really be good. And people would be like, "Well, how did you learn that?" And really, it was just us playing in the street for hours, and just basically practicing without even realizing that we were practicing. And that's how we got good because that's all we did.
Did you ever watch the movie Basketball?
No, I don't think so.
You never saw? It's the cross between baseball and basketball.
No.
So it's a great movie if you ever get to watch it. But one of the things is, if you're standing this far from the net, it's a single. This is a double. This is a triple. And if you go back, you get a home run. Okay. If you go back even further. So it's like taking baseball, but it's basketball.
Right.
And one of the things you can do is a psych out. So you try to distract the person. You'll yell screwed up shit like, I fucked your cousin or something like that.
I'm sure that's always like the go-to.
Well, in the movie, there's worse, but it was funny. So yeah, they would yell something trying to get you to miss.
Right.
And that was something my brother and I would play in the driveway.
Yeah, that's really it's really how you again, I always believe that natural talent has to be there. Right, like you can't pluck anybody who has no natural ability and be like, "Oh, we're going to practice and make you good." Like you can practice until the cows come home. If you don't have skill or natural ability, it's not going to work.
So how about kickball?
I used to like kickball. I mean, kickball is like baseball, just obviously without a bat and you're just kicking the ball.
Now, did you ever play scooter handball?
No, I don't think so.
Do you know what that is?
No.
So you know those little scooters you'd have in elementary school?
Like the Razor scooters?
Not the Razor. No, you'd sit on them. Like the elementary schools would have, I'm talking about the little. So you'd sit on them, and you'd have like not a dodgeball, but like softer. Mm-hmm. You'd have one of those, and it was kind of like a cross between hockey and football, type of thing, where you'd have to be sitting on the scooter the entire time. You had a goalie, but the object was to get it in the net. Okay. But you were on scooters. Yeah, that's and you had two teams, which I used to like playing that. That was a lot of fun. But there was offsides, there was stuff like that, and
that's pretty cool.
It was actually a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, anything that you can make competitive, again, like kickball, I mean, baseball, the big sports, whatever it is to me.
Let's play some kickball.
Yeah, I used to love kickball. I also used to love dodgeball, just pegging kids.
Yeah, you can't play that anymore.
No?
No.
Why?
Sensitive fucks.
I used to like when we had like two. We used to use like it wasn't a dodgeball, maybe it was like a soccer ball, but there was one that had like it was beat up because it was on the cement in the playground, and it kind of had like these weird like edges on it. But if it hit you, like it hurt more, just because it would scrape on the ground, and that would be my favorite ball to use. They would be like, "Oh, let's use this one." I'm like, "No, let's use this soccer ball," because I knew if I could throw it, you'd peg a kid like right in the side of the head. You'd be like, "Oh, got him." And he'd be like,
Fills into that physical assault.
No. The other thing is, but I used to get hit all the time too. Like you get hit in the balls.
Oh my God, that hurts.
You get hit like square in the face. Like sometimes you can move, especially, you know how it is like in dodgeball. You might be like the last 1, 2, 3 players left.
Capture the flag.
And then and sometimes, you know, like I was pretty good at catching it too. So even if they had a guy throwing it pretty hard, you can catch it. But
that can even sting depending on how you catch it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I know if it's coming fast, you try to kind of like hug it.
Yeah, you let the...
and then you're still getting hit, but you caught it.
Yeah, you're kind of like most of the hit, your body's taking most of the hit. And you're,
Right.
like, you know, because you're even, and then the other thing is the dangerous thing if you're trying to catch it with your hands, sometimes if they throw it hard, your finger would get bent back.
Ouch.
So you're actually better just taking it like in the chest or in the gut and kind of just trying to hold on to it. It'll sting a little bit, but it's better than having your finger like, you know, get fractured or, you know, snap back or something because you're trying to catch it like out here.
We were playing a game in high school, and there was a kid that was so competitive, he didn't care. Like, he was one of those, I'm going to catch this fucking ball.
Yeah, he's going to go up and get it.
It was like a knockoff of dodgeball. I forget what we called it because the state said you can't play dodgeball. The concept of, like, we had the concept there, but it was different. It was
Right.
kind of like dumbed down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And he was going back. He jumped up to catch the ball, hit the wall with his head,
Just
and
against the
went
ball.
and down.
That's a gamer.
He had to be taken out by an ambulance. I think he was airlifted too.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, he was airlifted because I remember them, you know, quickly hurting us out.
Yeah, that's too much.
of
Like
the gym.
if it starts getting to like where you need
Feels
to get
like, oh, fuck that.
yeah, like I'm talking about just hitting kids with like, I'm talking about hitting kids with like, you know, dodgeball and just like it stings and then you just go inside. Like I'm not trying to have no helicopters come and like, you know, rescue people.
This kid,
And that's
he was competitive, but
that's
I
what
was like, that's a little much.
yeah, like I'm super competitive, but I'm not trying to get people airlifted. Like that's outrageous. You don't want to hurt
But
anybody.
I mean, if you're in the World Series, and that's the ending play,
well, then
if that's do or die, what are you doing?
you got to get it, babe.
So,
got-
so you would be airlifted.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll. That's baseball. Like I don't know how you would get that injured in baseball.
I mean,
Unless you're like Aaron Rowan slamming his head into the wall. Other than that, I've never seen anything that's been like outrageous. Except when you ever see Randy Johnson when he threw the ball so hard that he threw it and the bird exploded?
no, but I need to watch that.
Yeah, I
now.
think it's on Instagram. But all right, so what we want to do is we want to see if anybody's interested in competing versus us, I guess, in baseball, volleyball, kickball, dodgeball. I mean, I'll literally play anything.
Will you?
Like literally anything.
Okay.
There's nothing that I won't. So if you want to compete against this, I'm ready.
Compete against this?
Yeah. Like I don't.
What is this?
That's me.
As you.
Yeah. If you want to compete against this, as in myself.
As in you.
Yeah. I mean, if it's say it's like it's a 2-on-2, we get 2 listeners that are like, Joe Schmo and Marky
Joe Schmo.
Mark
And Marky Mark.
want to take on Phil and JJ, and you better be good. So I'm not want to team up with you if you're gonna like screw me over. Look, if me and you were on the same volleyball team, you better be ready.
Okay, we're going to be playing.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
We'll just come up with our game plan ahead of time, you know,
Yeah.
who wants
You
to
better
do
be
what.
spiking. You better be blocking. Because I'm different playing than I am
Well,
in here.
2-on-2 is also different than a full team. We're allowed to do a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we can have more, too. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I guess we kind of have to figure out who wants to
yeah, we got to get some.
participate.
Because what we can do is we can set up these kind of events, and then we can go do it. We'll record some of it, and then we'll come back, and then we'll have like a recap and see what happens, and then have the people that we play versus.
This just did. We kicked
on.
some ass.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll only have them on to gloat if we win. If we lose, you don't get to come on.
No, we'll put them on.
Yeah, just kidding.
We'll
Just
be
kidding.
good losers if we lose, which we won't. But we will be good losers if we happen to.
All right, so you want to give these people the socials?
Do I?
I mean,
Sure.
so you can find us. I mean,
Sure. How about you give them?
nah, I don't know them, so that's why I make you do it.
Yeah, at Anything Goes PJ and our website, anythinggoespj.com.
That's the website.
Website. Is that it?
I mean, that's it. Peace.
Bye.
This is Anything Goes with Phil Rossi and JJ Golick.